I'd like to introduce to you another Canvas LTI tool called Certainty-Based Marking Assessments, or CBM exams. If you haven't watched the videos on how to do the FIFA LTIs, you'll need to watch those first because that will show you a lot more details about how to do these CBM exams. Certainty-based marking exam is a very good tool to help improve your students' metacognition. It's good to have knowledge of things, but it's even better to have knowledge of what you know and knowledge of what you do not know. So I have an example of a CBM exam here on the screen. And if you click on the link right here, read more about CBM exams here. I'm going to put this link in the bottom of the YouTube video as well. But this will open up a page that you can read a lot more about this and the science behind everything. Basically, the way a CBM exam works is you can only have multiple choice questions only, but you're going to have a follow-up question that tells you asks you how certain you are on that answer. And so if there's three levels, there's a certainty level 1, 2, and 3. That's not very certain, fairly certain, and extremely certain. If you're not very certain, but you get it right, you get 1 point. If you say you're fairly certain and you get it right, you get 2 points. If you say you're extremely certain and you get it right, you get 3 points. The trick here is, though, if you say you're not very certain and you get it wrong, you just get 0 like you normally would. But if you say you're fairly certain and you get it wrong, you actually miss 2 points. If you say you're extremely certain and you get it wrong, you miss 6 points. So it's very important to be able to self-assess your certainty level on your answers to get the highest score possible. But this is the teacher view of it. If you've watched the FIFA videos, you know how this all works. The interesting side is the student side, though. If you look on the student view of this CBM exam, it looks similar to the FIFAs, except for you have this the directions up here about how this is going to work. You have your navigation of all 33 questions over here. Here's your first question, and it's multiple choice, but you get this extra thing here, a certainty level. So it says certainty, not very, fairly, or extremely. And so you're going to try to answer the question. I'm going to say that this is 0.50 centimeters. I'm going to say I'm extremely certain of my answer, and I'm going to click check. And you see I got 3 points. That's because I got it right, and I also said I was extremely certain, so I got 3 points. So I clicked number 2. What is the correct reading on this micrometer? I'm going to say, I'm going to put this, but I know that that's not right, technically. I'm going to say I'm fairly certain, and I'm going to click check. And now my score is a 1 because I said I got it wrong, but I also said I was fairly certain, so I missed 2 points right there. So originally I had 3, now I'd missed 2, and so now I have a score of a 1 right there. Click on the third one, calculate the area of a rectangle that is this many centimeters by this many centimeters. I know it has to be 2 sig figs, and these are the only two that has 2 sig figs. Has to be probably this one here. I'm going to go ahead and say it's this one, which I'm going to miss it. I also going to say I'm extremely certain. So this is going to be bad for me. I'm going to click check, and I missed 6. So now my score is a -5. So yes, you can even have a negative score on certainty-based assessments. So what's going to happen eventually is I'm going to get a report at the end once I've submitted everything. I'm going to get a report on the end of how well I did. It's going to give me a CBM score, which is just the total points that I originally or that I get. So like right now, my CBM score is a -5. So my CBM score is at 22. My average CBM is 0.7. This is how many points I got on every single question, my average. My accuracy score is just like it would be for a regular test. There were 33 questions. I got 16 of them correct. So technically I would have a 48.5% if I was just like a regular type of a test. How many you got right out of how many points possible. This will give me a CBM bonus. Basically, it's going to give me a bonus that's going to get calculated on how well I reflected on my answer. So if I put extremely certain all the time and I missed them all, I could get a negative CBM bonus. But this said I did pretty good on reflecting on what I did, so I got a 2.2% bump. So that can get added to your actual score on the test. And so a 48.5 plus a 2.2 is a 50.7. So I could actually do better on a test than on a regular test than the percent that I got right if I am good at reflecting on how well I think I actually know that particular answer. I generally just use a CBM score. I don't use this for a grade in my class. I just use it as I take it 5 times on the year with every question in physics just to see how well each student is improving. The students tend to really enjoy taking the test, actually. Okay, so I'm going to leave the student view and I'm going to demonstrate how you can set up your own test. So I'm going to go to a different course. I'm going to go to my 7th grade science course. I'm going to go into my modules. And I'm going to go in this first module. I'm going to click the plus sign and I'm going to create an assignment. So it's not going to be external tool here, just like the FIFAs. It's going to be it's an assignment LTI. So I'm going to click create an assignment. I'm going to call it my CBM exam. I'll indent it. Add the item. Okay, and so now here it is. I'm going to go ahead and publish it. I'm going to click on my CBM exam. And I'm going to edit this. And I'm not going to put anything in the description. This is just like the FIFAs. I'm not going to put anything in the description at all. For the points, I'm going to put, really what I normally do is how many questions are you going to put in it times 3? Because you could get 3 points if you did it perfectly. If you got them all right and you said you're extremely certain on every one, you could get 3 points for every single one. So I'm going to do a 10-question test here. So I'm going to take it times 3. 10 times 3 is 30. I'm going to say you could get a maximum of 30 points on this. All right, so here's the important part. Submission type, you're going to do an external tool. An external tool. I'm going to find, and I'm going to click certainty-based marking, CBM assessments. I'm going to click select on that. Okay, so that's what I want, a certainty-based marking exam. I'm going to click save. And so I have a blank CBM exam. The only thing that's here is the directions. These part of the directions here are going to be automatically put in there. You can't change those. That's going to tell the student how things are going to be scored with a link on explaining more about the CBM exams. But you can enter additional directions here. I can delete that out there and click save so that I don't have anything in there at all. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to make a test. I'm going to do 10 multiple choice questions. If you want to know how to do this, you're going to go to the FIFA and see how to add all these things in. There's nothing extra that you need to do for that. So I'm going to make a test very, very quickly here, and then we'll show you how it works. Okay, I have all my questions in. I just did some simple multiplication tables here, and I'm going to go ahead and do a student view. Okay, so it has 10 questions here. I can answer my question. I can put my certainty level. So what is 6 times 7? I'm going to go with 42. I'm going to say extremely certain. I'm going to click check. And I got a score of a 3 now. What is 7 times 9? I'll say 63, extremely certain. Check. And I got 6 points. What is 4 times 7? 28. I'm going to say I'm just fairly certain on that one. That one's always a tricky one for me. Check. And I got 2 more points. I got 8. Okay, so 4. What is 2 times 9? 15. I'm going to say I'm fairly certain. Check. Ooh, got it wrong. Okay, 5. What is 3 times 9? 15. Extremely certain. Check. Ooh, got it wrong. I'm all the way back down to 0 points now. 6. 8 times 5, 40. Extremely certain. Check. 3 times 7, we're going to say 21. Fairly certain. Check. 5 times 3, 15. Extremely certain. Check. 8 times 8, we'll say 64. Extremely certain. Check. And 10 was 7 times 9. We're going to say 63 extremely. And this time when I click check, it'll be done. It'll submit the entire test and it'll give me an output report. So it says my CBM score is 14. So I got 14 points possible. Remember, there would technically be 10 questions at 3 points. So it'd be 30 points really, technically, that I could have earned. But I got a 14 CBM score. Average CBM is I got 1.4 points for every single question, or 10 questions. Accuracy score is I got 8 out of 10 right. So I missed 2 of the problems, but I only got 8 out of 10 right, which would be an 80%. Then it gives me a CBM bonus, like how well did I reflect on my answers. And I did pretty good. I got a 2% bonus. So 80 plus 2 is 82%. So this is an example that if you gave this test like old school, 10 question multiple choice multiplication test, and they got 8 out of 10, they would have got an 80%. But they could have guessed, right? They could have guessed. So this tells how well they reflected on what their answers were, and they guessed correctly when they were confident. So they got a 2% boost. So they would actually get an 82% on this test, depending on how well they reflected on their answers. So down here, it tells them how well they use the certainty levels. So the not very certain, which I never responded that way at all. It says that I'm okay when using that certainty level because it should be from 0 up to 67% of the time that you would use that. So then 3 times I did fairly certain, and I was correct at 3 times, 2 out of 3 times on those 3 times I did it. So I need to have this accuracy somewhere between 67 and 80 to say that I was confident to get an okay on this. So this says I was overconfident when using this particular certainty level. But for this one, the extremely certain, I got 85.7% of the times I did 7, I got it right. And so that falls in between 80 and 100%. So I was okay when using this certainty level, which is why I probably got my CBM bonus there. Okay. So that's how you use certainty-based marking exams. The biggest examples of certainty-based marking exams are in med schools. You probably want doctors to be able to reflect on their answers on how certain they are on the diagnosis that they might give you. So CBM exams is a good LTI tool that you can use in Canvas to improve your students' metacognition.